A complete, utter, dominant performance by Penn State on Saturday night in the whiteout. The Nittany Lions could be the most complete overall team in the Big Ten.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
Offense, defense, special teams. What a performance by Penn State, shutting out the Iowa Hawkeyes in front of a great raucous crowd in State College on Saturday night in the great whiteout atmosphere. When you go into a whiteout as a visiting team, you can't leave your chips, you can't leave your cards on the table. Iowa had a golden opportunity at the start of this one. Right, Torrey Taylor pins Penn State deep. They don't really do much. They punt it back, and they start in plus territory. Cade McNamara hits a pass to Eric All, and he fumbles the ball away. And it almost seemed like that time, not only was he fumbling the ball away, he was fumbling the game away in that situation. Because you're not going to get many of those opportunities against Penn State in a normal game. And then when you factor in the whiteout and all of the energy within the stadium, it's just gonna build after you turn the football over, because you had an opportunity to possibly, you go in there and you punch that one in and you make it 7-0 right out the gate. The crowd simmers down a little bit for a little bit amount of time, but at least you get that confidence going early. You build off of your special teams, which we know Iowa has been able to do in the past, but it didn't happen that way. And it was the miscues early that were not very Iowa-like, but man, it was bounces of the ball. It was just many things that just didn't go Iowa's way. From Drew Allar's elite quarterback performance to Penn State doing better on the offensive line, containing the Iowa pass rush, to Iowa not having much of a run game, and Penn State grinding out long drives and miscues, and all of these things you added up. And it was not an equation where Iowa was going to be awfully competitive in this football game. And the Penn State capitalizing off of those Iowa miscues early is exactly what good teams do. They capitalize off of those opportunities, and Penn State did exactly that. I want to talk about Penn State's offensive line here for a minute. Johnny Newton, Illinois, did a pretty good job getting to Drew Allar last week on the road at Illinois. I thought the offensive line performed better against a deeper Iowa defensive front this week. And when you give Drew Allar time to throw, he's an elite quarterback, and he's going to have the game like he did. Boy, I tell you what, Drew Allar can make throws that just 90 to 95% of quarterbacks in the country just can't make. That's how good he is. We've seen him in his short sample size this season that when he's good, he's real good. And you saw that today against a really good defense. I said in my preview, okay, what happened? Illinois gave you some challenges. You powered through it. You grinded through it. You didn't turn the football over. That's what's most important. Then same thing happened here against Iowa. But can you get better? And Penn State certainly got better. This is the type of performance and the step up that I wanted to see. Because when you're as good of a team like Penn State, the coaching staff, the James Franklins and Mike Yurcich's of the world, they're going to nitpick. They're going to nitpick. And this offensive line got better going from Illinois to Iowa. This was an interesting stretch against two solid defenses from a year ago, and which still look to be, at least on the Iowa side, we're still finding out kind of ups and downs for Illinois that they've had throughout this young part of this season. But I think we're finding out Penn State working on those little things to get ready for this stretch run down the stretch that Penn State could be involved heavily in the national conversation, the Big Ten East title conversation as well. So that offensive line, a huge part to Drew Allar's success throwing the football. And of course, Drew is going to be Drew. Is he the best quarterback in the Big Ten right now? Maybe. It's him and JJ. And then I think you go to the next tier in terms of quarterbacks right now in the Big Ten. Let's talk about Iowa a little bit. Their lack of a run game. Their lack of maybe even confidence in LaShawn Williams and this run game really proved to be devastation for Iowa. So the lack of a run game, the line play, it was just no match for what Penn State had. There was just so much more talent, and that Penn State defensive front overpowering Iowa's offensive line. We know that was a concern. I said it preseason, and I've said it throughout the first couple of weeks, that offensive line and run game, you need that to be good to get the best out of Cade McNamara. And this was a great example of when your offensive line can't do well and you really don't have a run game, you're down to RB3. This is the type of thing that you see from the Iowa Hawkeyes. And man, I know Iowa's not a great offense. I know they might not even be a good offense. They might be somewhere right around average to below average right now. But man, Penn State's defense is elite. They are. This is a fantastic defense. We have great defense in this conference, and Penn State might be the greatest of them all. Okay, shutting out Iowa, I don't think is this crowning achievement. But just when I look at them and I watch them play and I watch them fly to the football, their aggressiveness and their pass rush and how good they are on the corners, right? I saw a list of some highest graded defensive backs, and Kalen King was not on that list because no one throws to his side of the football. He's that Revis Island type of guy in the defensive secondary. Great coverage, great linebackers, great on the defensive line. Penn State is a fantastic defense. This performance against Iowa doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't really boost them, right? It's they played great. They shut out Iowa. All of a sudden, I think they're this amazing. No, I already thought they were really good coming into this one. It's just, man, when I watch them, man, I just get so impressed every single time they play. Another big key in this one were those long, methodical, churn-it-out drives for Penn State. Why were they key? I'm going to tell you why. Because when this run game just runs downhill and is physical and methodical and Allar keeps the chains moving with his arm, it wears down the defense. It wears them down. And Iowa has learned this over the years, the past few years. When the offense doesn't move the ball, when the offense doesn't get things going, the defense has a lot of weight on their shoulders and they get gassed. Look at the time of possession in this one. It tells a big story. It's a big storyline of why Penn State dominated the way they did, because not only did they churn the clock, not only did they methodically go down the field and get points, but they forced turnovers and they limited Iowa, right? Iowa's not a good offense to begin with. And then when you limit their time of possession and you take all that time off the clock and you build that lead, you get the result that you got on Saturday night. So for Iowa, I got a question. All right. Caleb Brown was a transfer that came in to Iowa this offseason. High 4-star kid, top 100 guy. His only catch last year at Ohio State actually came against the University of Iowa in a blowout. Where is he? Where is he? Right? We wanted guy who's going to step up. That was my question this week. I don't know if we got any answers. We got zero answers going forward for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Okay, now that you're down some of these weapons, I'd expect someone like a Caleb Brown to really step up. And I'm very curious where he is. I might have to do some digging and some deeper dives. Maybe why he's not involved as much right now. Maybe there's something else going on that I just don't know about. But that's been a little bit of a head scratcher to me. I think he's a talented kid. This was a high profile ad in the offseason, and we really haven't seen him all that much in this Iowa offense. Because I still believe it. Someone's going to have to step up. Is it going to be the tight end pass game all season long? I don't know. I think we're going to have to, somebody at the wide receiver position is going to have to step up. Offensive line is going to have to get better as well. But the main takeaway that I want to take away from this game is Penn State is just doing what they do. Taking care of business. A TCB kind of game from the Penn State Nittany Lions. I want to know what you guys think out of this one. How dominant, how good do you think Penn State is after a game like this? And I know Iowa's not great, and that kind of maybe goes into what other people think about Penn State that they might leave in the comments. But what do you think about Iowa? They get shut out. It's a great team. It's a great defense at Penn State, but how concerned should you be from the Iowa Hawkeyes after a game like this with all the weather and stuff factored in there as well? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.